Hi, welcome to Astrology for Gann Traders. My name is Olga Morales and I haven't produced one of these YouTube videos for a while, so here I am back, and today's topic is sunspots. I've decided to do it on sunspots because I've been able to access some data and also some commodity data for cotton that's going back to 1791, so I wanted to test out this theory that has been proposed, and hopefully you enjoy it. Now, Gann was also, the other fact is that Gann obviously was very interested in astro weather forecasting, because in terms of forecasting commodity cycles, anything that grows in the earth is going to be affected by weather patterns and obviously flooding and drought. And that's what the ancient astrologers were very good at, because their survival depended on it. So, he had a book by a forecaster called W.T. Foster entitled Sunspots and Weather. And it was also, he had a newsletter. I'll just go to the next slide. W.T. Foster, he was actually called the weather prophet in the papers at the time. Here's a little snippet out of one of his pamphlets. Our Sunspots and Weather pamphlet was delayed a few days, but now is being distributed. It is our most important paper and absolutely proves planetary influences to be a fact. Jupiter is the king of the planetary system in sunspots and weather. By it we prove that the most sunspots occur when Jupiter is near 102 degrees of the sun's longitude, the place where the Earth is about the 1st of January. Now, just to let you know, the Jupiter cycle is 11.86 years, rounded off to 12 years. Now let's have a look at this. He's telling us that it's that point is when the Earth is closest to the Sun in January. So we know that the Earth's orbit is elliptical. So there's times when the Earth is closer to the Sun, and also there's times when it's further away from the Sun. Okay. Now when it's aphelion, a helion comes from Greek for helios, is the Sun. When it's further away, this occurs in July, or the 4th of July. The Sun is at 13 Cancer, which is 103. When it's perihelion, when it's closest to the Sun, the Earth's closest to the Sun, that occurs early in January, around the 3rd, and the Sun is 13 Capricorn, 283. Now remember, the Sun and the Earth are always opposite in the heavens, okay? So let's have a look at this. The Earth's perihelion, which is around the 3rd of January. This is what Foster was talking about in his quote. Now let's have a look at where the Earth is. The Earth is always a circle with a cross, and the Sun is a circle with a dot. Okay, so let's have a look at this axis. This is a 360 dial, and have a look at the Earth. We start anything at 90 degrees, we know we're into the Cancer, and then after 270 we know we're into the Capricorn area. So they're always opposite. What I want you to look at, what I've done is around the dial, this circle, I've put the positions of the fixed stars. Not all of them, or else it'd be too much stuff. But basically, I just want you to see where the Earth is lined up with at that point is with a fixed star called Sirius. Okay, it's very serious to the Egyptians, and I'll explain why. And then the Sun was actually at that time connected to a fixed star called Vega, which again will become important as I progress. Now, what I've done here is the Earth's aphelion, which is the 4th of July. I've actually shown you the same thing, but on a 90 degree dial, remembering that the first third is the cardinal area, the second is all the fixed, and the third is all the mutable. Now the fact that those stars are in Cancer and Capricorn, obviously they're going to come together in this dial, and so is the Sun and the Earth, because anything opposite or square or conjunct will come together. So here we have this point, just sort of the middle point of the cardinal signs, where we have these stars and the Sun and the Earth. Okay. Now, Sirius, just to bring some ancient wisdom into it as well, because part of decoding Gann and the Bible is understanding how the ancients treated these fixed stars, and they're encoded as events and people, and they had their gods represented as these stars. Okay, so The brightest star Sirius is very special to the Egyptians, and it was the hottest days of the year occurred when the dog star was lost behind the sun's glare. The ancients believed that Sirius added heat to the sun. It was actually called the scorcher. So the hottest days of summer were called the dog days after Sirius. So that's where we get the dog days. Okay, the heliacal rising of Sirius, that means it's just rising before the sun. It also coincided with the flooding of the Nile, and that's what they were waiting for, you know, and that would save their crops from for another year. So basically the Sirius sighting, the heliacal rising of Sirius was actually the new year for the Egyptians. Okay, so it's very special. Now it's interesting that the 4th of July, American independence, the sun on that day is around 13 degrees of Cancer. Okay, now if you have a look, Sirius at the time in 1776 was approximately at 11 degrees of Cancer. Now I won't go into too much, but the positions of the fixed stars do change over time because of something called the precession of the equinoxes, which is 1 degree every 72 years. Okay, so they're slowly moving. It's not, they're not moving, the orientation of the way we see them is moving. Okay, so it's interesting, like if you consider, if I can find where that star is, yeah, Polaris is our current pole star. Okay, that's basically the north point when we look up, and that's our pole star at the moment. But a long time ago, Vega, which is opposite, was the pole star. So it's just, and that was probably about 14,000 years ago, would have done a complete flip when these stars were. So you can imagine why it's very difficult sometimes to uncode things, because we need to understand how these stars were arranged in terms of the people, what they were seeing rising and setting and culminating. That has changed over time, so the myths change. And so that's one of the interesting parts of understanding the precession of the equinoxes. Okay. Now, another thing that I found reading Bill Meridian's book Planetary Economic Forecasting is this thing called the invariable plane. I never heard about it before. And at 1314 Cancer Capricorn is the invariable plane. Charles Jane frequently referred to this axis, which was first discovered by the astronomer Pierre-Simon Laplace. This place is independent of the mutable agitations of the planets. It is a plane where the velocities of the planets net out to zero. And you can read more about what Bill's found about that plane, but I just thought it was so amazing when I was researching this, that this plane comes in to do with sunspots as well, and Jupiter's cycle. Now, just to bring in some of Gann's work as well, we've got this horoscope that he had, which is I've shown before many times. But the center is Columbus sighting of America. Then we have American independence, and then we have 2 CBOT natal charts, which is the Chicago Board of Trade. And then on the outside, he's got all the conjunctions and oppositions of the planets. Basically, this is what I've replicated here. What I wanted to show you quickly is this invariable plane, which is basically the Cancer Capricorn axis, comes up in all 4 of these charts. So you can see where when you're working with the cycles, you need to know these points of the zodiac that they share, so you can make some interesting, you can do some interesting research and analysis to see how they have worked in the past. Okay, so let's have a look what I've been able to do, because I've got this amazing data and software that I can do all this with. This is Timing Solution. I've been able to test the Jupiter cycle for cotton, and so this is basically Jupiter going through the zodiac. And now this is a lot, because I've got this back from 1791, and it's been able to do almost 24 cycles of this to give me the statistical trend for. And basically, if you see these red spots here, that's showing you that those areas have high statistical I don't know the exact word for it, but there's more synchronicity at that point. Okay, so it links up with the Cancer Capricorn axis. Okay, this is what they've been talking about with sunspots. So what I was able to do as well, I've got the sunspots on down below here in red, and the green bars is when Jupiter is with Vega, and then that's supposed to relate to sunspot minima, and then the blue is with Sirius, and that's the sunspot maxima. That's what Foster was talking about. Okay, so you can see, and you can study this yourself with any commodity you would like, to have a look at how it has affected the supply and demand of whatever commodity you're interested in. Okay, now the timing solutions allows you to test the efficiency of these points, something called the efficiency test, which Bill Meridian was the brainchild of, and basically it's telling me that when Jupiter's with Sirius, there's a 74% downtrend for cotton. So this is how you can do some statistical analysis for these phenomena of the planetary alignments. Now, drought and floods. The other thing I found amazing is that the research of an Australian long-range forecaster called Inigo Jones had similar findings. Now, he found that when Jupiter is with Sirius, which coincided with sunspot maximum, there was more flooding, and when with Vega, the sunspot minimum, more drought in Australia. So this is Australian conditions, but he found the same spots in the cosmos to be related to those things, which is amazing when you think about it. You know, we've got people from different places and different eras getting the same information. So historically also and statistically, there's more major economic contractions and recessions peak with sunspot maximum. Okay, so I've come to the end of my very quick look at sunspots and cycles, and what I want to also just take a minute to promote is my workshop next year in 2013, if you haven't heard, in New York, 18th and 19th of May, that I'll be doing with Bill Meridian / Cerebi. And we're really excited about it. We've got a lot to show and about what we both can do and what we found, and it will be a very exciting 2 days full-on workshop. I've got some amazing stuff about cotton trades, Gann's cotton trades, that will be very eye-opening for all those who attend, and lots of other things, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you can come. If you have any questions, you can either contact me or Bill Meridian. Okay, thank you.